Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. So in this video we are going to continue learning some more HTML and CSS code, and we are going to make this portfolio website. Now this is kind of like a template for you guys that you can like change the text, images and all that, but we will be making this together and then you can customize it based on your own information and data. So what we have here, we'll have a navbar over here, we'll have a couple sections that we are going to build a hero section here with a call to action, for example subscription to a newsletter, and then we have an about section which can be anything about you. Just right now here I have some text and picture, like dummy text and dummy picture, and then we'll have a work section where we have some pictures and text that you can see here. You can put like your work stuff over here, and then a contact section at the bottom. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna actually host the whole thing on GitHub. So as you can see here, it's already on GitHub, and I'll show you everything step by step how you can do this as well. So this link, I can send it to anybody and they can access to the whole thing from anywhere in the world, as long as they have access to internet and a browser. So that's also cool. This is a way to share your website with others for free, because GitHub gives you that option. And then as far as the navigation here, if you like click on a section, it will scroll down to that section. So we have different sections about work and contact, so we're gonna take care of this as well, which is really cool. And finally we have like a couple forms, as you saw here, this contact form over here and the subscription form here, and we're gonna connect it to a third-party provider where you can like start like if you add your email here and click subscribe, it's gonna give you hey, thanks for your submission, and then you will see all these in the backend. Basically part of this platform. Formspree is the third-party platform that we're gonna use, and you will see hey, there is a new subscription here, like the new email here, and you can also receive an email, like the email that you used to create this account over here. You'll get a notification that someone subscribed to your like newsletter, and then you can also see everything over here as well. So yeah, that's about it. We're gonna break this into multiple videos. So the first video I'll talk about navbar, then we have a video about this hero section, and then about section and work and contact section. So this is gonna be like a 5 or 6 video kind of thing. I try to publish one video like every day or every other day, so keep an eye out. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and also make sure to click on the notification bell so you get notified when I post the new videos. And yeah, that's about it. So let's get started. Okay, so I have VS Code open here, and I have navigated to an empty folder that I created called portfolio. You can go ahead and do the same, and once you're here you can click on this new file button, and then index.html is going to be our main in HTML file, and for CSS we're going to have styles.css. okay, so that's gonna be our style file. Over here in our index.html file, start type in HTML, and then you'll see suggestions. We want HTML5 here to get our boilerplate. Now over here, just select this document. We want to change the document title. So I'm gonna say my name and, for example, a professional data dude. Whatever, you know what this is. In the previous video I explained what it is, and we'll see it in a second also, but this is basically the title of your website. Once you have that, save it, and then we're gonna go live. So again, this one I explained in the previous video. Go check that out. I'll put a link to that video also in the description box below this one. So let's see, go live, and it should open a browser for you. So I'm going to bring it over here in this screen and put it right here. So right now, nothing over here. It's only the title that we added, and that's where it's gonna show up. Like you see here, exactly what I typed over here for title. Now for this favicon over here, again, I talked about it in the previous video. If you want to add that, go ahead and check that video out and then add favicon over there. We're not gonna do that now, today. So I'm gonna right click here, inspect. Always while you're developing, keep this open, console and element. You want to make sure there are no errors here, and you can check the elements, everything over here. Since we are not doing JavaScript, so no, we shouldn't have anything special here. So let's keep this elements tab open over there and go back to VS Code. Okay, we know server is now on port 5500. The next thing we're gonna do is to connect our CSS and HTML. So to do that, we need to add a link to basically link this HTML, link the CSS to HTML, and that is gonna happen using the link tag. So let's do link, start typing link and select the CSS here. This by default is gonna say your CSS file's name is style. Make sure to change that styles.css or whatever you named your file. Since they are both in the same folder, same directory, you don't need to make any changes here. Just make sure the name is good. And now that is connected, so that's good. Now the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go in body and start adding content here. So before that, again, let's go back to Bootstrap. Bootstrap is, let me go back here, is a like a CSS JavaScript kind of like package, library, whatever you want to call it. As you can see in their website, it's like mostly used for to make sure your website is responsive to different like screen sizes in mobile and also desktop. And the idea is basically right now, if you check out how many people use their cell phones to visit any website, you'll probably realize that it's probably like 80-90% of all website visits are through cell phones. So the idea is to build your website with like mobile first mentality, so that you make sure it looks good on mobile, and then of course it's gonna look good on tablet and desktop, since like they have bigger screen and you have more room there. So Bootstrap gives you that option. And if you go to the documents, we've talked about it before in the previous video, we're gonna go ahead and grab the CSS and styling, and then right here, this link over here is our CSS. So I'm gonna copy it and then paste it in my head tag, inside the head tag over here, and then next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna grab the JS files, JavaScript files here. I can just copy both these guys and then paste it right above my closing body tag over here. Now, if you're on Windows, click, you can actually hold, what's the option? Shift, Alt, Shift, and F, and it is going to format your page like what you just see. If I Control Z, you see like this line is like going outside the screen, so you have to like horizontally scroll to see the whole thing. If you're on Windows, do Alt, Shift, and F. If you're on Mac, do Option, Shift, and F, and it will format your file. And we do that a lot, like, so you see me do that a lot throughout this video and like in my job, whatever. So this is just like an easy way, instead of like going over here then hitting enter, trying to format it yourself, then like just hitting tab to like, let's say, bring this guy a tab over here. If it's here, if this is like too far there, and if this like guy is like too far over here, all you can do is do Option Shift F or Alt Shift F key, and then it's gonna style it, format it for you automatically. So keep that in mind. So we have Bootstrap loaded also. Let's go ahead and start adding elements. What we want to have is a navbar up here first of all, and again, Bootstrap has all we need. It's, if you like look at these this section, this left panel over here, scroll down, you'll find navbar under components, or you could just easily go ahead and search for navbar here, and like you can click on that. Here we are, navbar, and then you can grab this, for example this code right here, you can copy to clipboard and then just like that paste it over here. And then again, I'm going to do the Option Shift F or Alt Shift F, and it's gonna style it for you. By the way, it might be adding like 2 spaces instead of 4 space here, and you can fix that. Down here you will see this spaces 4. If you click on it, you can use indent using tabs, and then tab you can select 4 spaces here, so it will do this. Right now yours might be like indent using spaces and 2, so in this case if I do the Option Shift F or Alt Shift F, it's gonna have like 2 spaces in each line to do the indentation, you know. But I personally like a tab or 4 spaces, so you could do like using tabs with 4 space and then Option Shift F or Alt Shift F, and it's formatted it for you. So all good. If I save it right as it is right now and then check my website over here under port 55, you immediately see you have your navbar here. We haven't talked about it. If you click on it, you see, oh, it works. You can like open it, close it, and if you make your screen like large enough, it will show you everything like this. And this is a concept of breakpoints. Basically, if you look at what's happening up here, as I keep increasing my the width of this tab, this window here, once I hit 992 pixels, as you just saw up there, it will switch to this view, and that's the beauty of Bootstrap, that it takes care of it for you. So if you click on this little icon here, and if I haven't said it before, I'm on Google Chrome, so I suggest you do the same too. There is this toggle device toolbar here. If you click on it, it will show you how it looks like on mobile. So here you will have options to like select, for example, I want to see how it looks like on iPhone 12 Pro, and there you go, it's there. You can add devices. If you go to edit over here, you can add devices, remove devices, whatever you want. Right now this is what I have. I normally like test it on small screens and big screens to make sure it works. If you click on this guy over here, it rotates, so now you're in landscape mode, and then rotate back to portrait. Okay, so these are all good things you need to know about development. So now this is a portfolio website, so I don't need all these things. What I am going to do is actually, let's take a look. I will keep this container fluid. My navbar brand over here is this navbar, and you can inspect these elements separately. If you right click and do inspect over here, you'll see this guy. I have my navbar brand. I'm gonna move this to the bottom of the screen, so I will keep the whole thing open and we don't have that like hamburger icon for now, since we're trying to see what each of these links are and elements are. So I have my navbar brand, which is this guy, and then as I hover over the other icons of like the elements over here, have my navbar collapse. My UL is an unordered list. As you can see, we have like list items as our nav items here. That's exactly what they have over here. So we have a UL, LI, and then like we have A, and these are HTML elements. I have posted a link to the description box below this video. You can go check that out and see what each of these elements are. We briefly talked about them in previous videos as well. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna actually copy a little bit of code that I have and then use that for this. So instead of this whole nav bar here, I will copy over what I have right here. So instead of my brand here, which was just a simple navbar text over here, now I'm going to add an image and my name. So this image img tag image tag will have a source, and in the source you'll have your image. So now I'm using like a free image online, and there's this website called unsplash.com. You can go there and grab photos, use them. Most of them are free, but make sure to look at the copyright things and make sure it's fine. So if I save it right now, I'll come back to it in a second, but this is how it's gonna look like. And obviously it's not like styled or anything, so a little bit different than what we expected. And that's because we need to style this image at least. So going back to my index.html file, I have my navbar brand, which has the image and my name, and then I have a button, and then I have a div class over here. Okay, so if I go to my style.css, that's where I need to style my navbar over here. First of all, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna target my body, and my body is the whole thing, the whole body over here. And the way you target elements in the styles is either using their tag or a class name or an ID, which I'll talk about it in a few minutes. But right now, if you want to target using the tag, just use the tag itself, body. Now we have only one body here, so it's okay to use body here. But like, let's say I have 200 images in my page. I can't just go there and do, let's say, image, and then give to all of my images a width of 20 pixels or whatever. You can't do that, because then it's gonna be applied to all the images in your page, and that's not gonna work. Imagine like a website like Netflix, you have like all these videos and stuff over here. Like I have this image background, I have images here, here, and here. If I just apply one single style to all images, then they're gonna all have the same style, which we don't want. We want this to have a specific height and width. This one has a different height and width. So that's why we need classes. With the class here, easily you can actually go and style that. So for the headshot, for example, instead of doing the image here, I have defined a class for it, headshot. I'll go over here, I get rid of this, and then I'm gonna do like headshot. Headshot is going to target this specific element over here. Now you can have classes applied to multiple elements, so you could have potentially two image, another image over here as well, and then the class, this style will be applied to both of them, because both of them have the same class name. So make sure, if you want to apply different style to different like elements, make sure to select different class names for it, and these are all your call, like whatever you want to assign to this, the name of the class, whatever makes sense to you. Like for this one, this is like my headshot for my portfolio, so that's why I named it headshot. And let's save this. Let's see how this looks like. So I have my headshot now over here. The problem before was that I had a large width, so I hadn't actually limited my image width, so it was taking like a big chunk of the screen. But now I have given it a width, and to make it round like this, all you need to do is to do a border dash radius of 50%. And we can check it out over here again. If I inspect it, I have my headshot, and in here you'll see your headshot, border radius, and width. If this is too small, you can like try and increase this width. Maybe that's what you want. Maybe that's too big, that's what you want. So you can play with it. Once you have the final number set here, make sure to go and change it over here, because if you don't change it over here, once you refresh the page, it's gonna go back to what was assigned over here, right? Because this is your actual code, this is your playground. Okay, so make sure to make the change over here finally, like at the end. Okay, now back to this. Now that we can see everything over here, what I have here is I have a navbar brand, I have my headshot, I have my name over here, and then this button is part of the CSS thing. This is the hamburger button that will show up when we make this thing small. Where did it go? Over here, yeah. So now over here, you see if I hover over this button, it's actually this hamburger icon over here. We don't see that in full screen mode. Here right now it's hidden, so we don't see it. So if you hover over it, you don't see anything. And then we have this section, this whole section under the collapse, navbar collapse. And that's again what we get from Bootstrap. So you don't need to worry about like what these names are. They make sense, right? It's telling you, hey, this portion, everything under this will be collapsed under this menu bar once you are in like a smaller screen. So about, work, contact, all under here. So let's go back to here. We see all these. Once we go back to the mobile view, everything in this div, including these 3 nav items, are going to be collapsed inside that hamburger icon. So that's all we have here. And then for our links over here, about, work, and contact, we can use an A tag. A tag is an anchor tag. Basically, you can use that to link different pages of your website. Link this like specific item, this text, to different pages of your website or different sections of the page. That's what we're doing here. For now, ignore these href values. We'll get to them and you'll see why I have set them like this. Okay, so that is all we need to know about the nav bar. In the next video, we will talk about this hero section over here, which is kind of like what they have on Netflix website, background image and some content on top of it. And then the following videos will talk about the other sections of the page, about, work, and contact section. And lastly, I'll show you guys how you can move everything to your GitHub repo, and then there you can use GitHub pages to host your website online, and you'll have the link you can send anyone and they can basically access that website from anywhere. So that's gonna be our process. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel because I will be posting new videos in the next couple of days, and you want to make sure that you're notified. Turn the notification bell on so that you get notified. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks again, and talk to you soon.